decided to select this area of Texas to come and settle?
Well, Larry, I'm originally from Central Mexico. My family brought me to the U.S. in search for a better life. And we had one of my uncles was working in Marble Falls. And my mom decided that would be a good place to kind of go and be with the family. And that's where we ended up.
Now, you came when you were 5.
Yes, sir.
You were obviously started at 10 school. Did you know much English?
Not at the time. I was about 4 and a half or 5, right about. So, and I had no idea. I didn't know English at the time.
And so you had to learn it quickly on the fly, obviously.
Yes, sir. But you would be surprised how fast being a kid, you're able to pick up the English very, very fast.
Yep, I can understand. I can understand. And now, at what point did you decide and tell your parents you wanted to try and run? I think this is a very nice story.
So, I've been running all my life. And what happened is right about when I was 12 or 13, I found a new sport called cross country and track and field. And at the time, my parents were like, "What? What is this? What are you doing?" And
6th grade or 7th?
It was the summer of my 6th grade year, and my parents didn't really understand what running or track and field or what even sports was. Being from a small town in central Mexico, it's a very, very agriculturally based society, and so what happens is you're not grown into the sports, you're not really born into it, and so my parents had no idea, and so when I went out to try to run, they're like, "What are you doing? You are being lazy. Go out and get a job."
So you convinced them that this took real effort.
Well, the convincing was a little hard, but I guess being a younger kid and being right about 12 or 13, I had a pretty hard head, and I decided that sports and running was what I really like to do, and I stuck with it. The next thing I know, the schools, Marble Falls, started taking me out to different little track meets, and I started winning a lot of the races.
What age?
13, 14, 15. And when my parents started seeing it, I think they saw some kind of potential. I don't know if it was instant, but of course it was a little bit down the line when they're like, okay, well, maybe this is going somewhere. Let's give them a chance. But I still had to get a job.
So you did the job, track training, in school.
Yep, I had a job. I was, in school, and then either whether it was early in the morning or even in the afternoon. It was.
What age at this point?
I was 16 or 17.
Okay, so you're learning time management at a very young age.
Boy, it was bad.
Training at this point, cross country and club running in the summer, and track and all the whole.
It was year round, Larry. It was year round. I was doing cross country in the fall. I was doing. Regular track during the school year, and then I would always do the summer track. And so it was year-round.
Tell us about the success. You started to run real well by your sophomore, junior year, right?
Yes, sir. So during my high school years, I won 9 state titles.
First one being at what age of school?
I was a freshman.
Freshman.
A freshman, yes, sir.
And you had 1 title freshman year?
I had 2 titles.
2? Which were they?
Yes, sir. I ran the mile and the 2 mile. And then I also ran cross country, and I believe I got 3rd or 4th. I can't quite remember.
Now, and this was an entire state title or a class state title in Texas? What did you win as a miler?
It was class 4A.
So that's fairly large schools?
Yes, sir, yeah.
Okay, and how fast did you run as a freshman?
My best time in the mile was actually here as a freshman at a 4:16 against Brian Sullivan. He ran a 4:15.9, and I ran a 4:16.1. So it was a very close race.
So the potential was there. You must have been excited at what you were doing. That's good time.
I think the potential's always been there. Ever since I can remember, I've been pretty good at track and field. You
go to UT. You decide you have lots of offers, right? Collegiate scholarship offers all over the place. You choose to stay in the neighborhood, so to speak.
Yes, sir. Well, with my family, we tend to be very close, and so going far away would have been very difficult. But yeah, my big break came when the University of Texas called, and it was Jason Vigilante, and he called and said, "Hey, this is Jason Vigilante from the University of Texas," and I was just getting off of work, and I'd seen this weird number I didn't recognize, but I picked it up, and when he said that, I was like, "No way, really?" And so I just hopped on the ball, and I came on a recruiting trip. And the next thing you know, I was signing papers.
Happy to be here, were you?
Of course.
And a great program here that they've got great facilities, great everything.
It's incredible.
And you're next to your family.
Yes, sir.
And you wound up running how fast for the mile by your senior year of high school?
Well, my senior year, actually, this is kind of funny. So my junior year, I ran a 4:06, and then my senior year, I ran a 4:26. I think I was working at an Italian restaurant, and I think the food got to
I
me.
never heard that. That really got to you.
Oh, yeah.
How much weight
Yeah.
did you put on? What did you do?
So, every night I would be getting off right about 10 or 11, and the next thing you know, it's like, man, as a kid, you get hungry. So I was going home with whether it be some chicken parmesan or, some kind of pasta. And but within the school year, I was able to kind of drop some weight again, and I ended up running 150 that year.
Wow.
As a senior.
Jason Vigilante for a while was having a heart attack, offering you a full ride, and you dropped back 20 seconds in the mile.
He was pretty nervous. He was a little scared.
How many titles did you win here at Texas? Collegiate titles.
Collegiate titles. I have 5 here at the University of Texas.
In which events?
In the mile, the DMR, and also
Distance medley relay for those not familiar.
Yes, sir. The distance medley relay, and then also the 1,500 meters.
You turn pro. You stay here and you continue to train.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about the last year and just the training. It went as you expected.
There was definitely some ups and downs, but with some guidance from my coach now and my university coach at the time, it just seemed like everything just fell into place, and I was able to win a national title that year, and I went on into the 2012 Olympics.
Before I get to the Olympics, and we can close out with that, I've always been impressed with the story. Your folks gave you eventually a pair of walking boots. They didn't have much money, fair to say.
Right.
And you're working hard to help them as well. And mom's pushing you to try and help support the family. And they're kind of putting up in the early days with your success. But what is this sport called track and field, right?
Correct.
They gave you a pair of walking boots.
Yep, as I call them, they were my hiking boots, and at the time I had really no idea what track and field was, even myself. So I was wearing these hiking boots, shoes, and blue jeans, and that was what I was running in the first day of practice.
And you never forgot that experience, right?
No.
Emotionally?
No. It's always been there.
They had track shoes, and you came with a pair of boots, or hiking boots,
Yes,
right?
sir, it was a pair of hiking boots.
What did you do? You decided when you were successful and before you won your Olympic silver medal to do something about it. Tell everybody what you did.
Yes, sir. So we've had an opportunity to donate shoes, and mostly shoes, back to a couple kids within our community is what we've done.
And you've established a little bit of a foundation to
Yes,
try
sir.
and help.
So I run it through the Austin Community Foundation, and so we have a fund, and through that fund we're able to donate or we're able to donate whether it be shoes or to events or organizations.
Why don't you tell everybody at home if they'd like to donate or do something, if you have some kind of an address you can have them look up and find out what's going on or send something to as part of a donation.
Yes, sir. So it's through the Austin Community Foundation, and they've been very generous and very supportive of me. And we have a small fund. It's called the Manzano Fund. And if you would like to donate, you can look us up in there.
So it's called ManzanoMile.com?
Well, what it is so the Manzano Mile is a separate thing. That is a race, and through that race, we're able to we donate half of our proceeds back to the Austin Community Foundation, and then what we do is we also sponsor young kids. So this, for example, this last race just held recently, we sponsored about 200 kids or just over 200 kids to run for free at our event, promoting health and fitness, and then also promoting a healthy heart through the Texas Heart Institute.
Is there a link on your Manzano Mile they can go to?
There is. It's manzanomile.com, and you can also go to my website at leomanzano.com as well.
Awesome stuff.
Yes.
Now, before we just want to close on a high note here. Take us through your Olympic race. You struggled to make the final.
It was.
One race was close, wasn't it, to make the final?
It was very, very tight.
Now, did you not feel good in that kind of semifinal to get to the final for the Olympic Games?
Well, you know what happens is that for some reason or another, the hardest race or the hardest race is always the prelim. And I guess the reason is because you're shaking out their nerves, and you're also running against a lot of people that tend to be a little bit unexperienced. And so when that happens, there tends to be a lot of falling, a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, and people that make really bad mistakes sometimes. unfortunately, and that's what causes the falls or the spills. So that's usually the race that I'm usually the most nervous in. Now, as the races progress, I usually become a little more comfortable, and I also know that I'm going to feel a lot better.
We should tell our audience that we're talking about in the Olympic Games 3 major, hard, almost all-out races in 4 days. Very difficult to do. You've got to have a lot of stamina training. Now, you wind up coming down the home stretch, and you are close to getting a gold medal there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let me back, with 400 meters to go, this race is very, very intense. And what happened is I couldn't get very good position. So with 400 meters to go, I find myself kind of in between a rock and a hard place. My lungs were fixing to explode. My heart was just not there. And the next thing I know, I just really had to start making moves and, thinking about my family, thinking about my friends, and that's really what inspired me to go forward and start kicking and bring home an Olympic medal.